Real in the city, no steel in the city. I eat rappers, so I make a meal of the city. I'm feeling the city like I'm dealing with titties. One mic, one hook, just real in the city.
A magician on a mic like silver, man, I flow comedy, can't come realer. And a lead from the arms might kill you, but instead I throw palms and heal you. In the city where shit gets great, and the dreams just don't come fair. By any means, we all need this radio. Sophie's got more times than a Quero. Man, it's all messed up, we got the whole game dressed up. Fake life in a red tux, no clues to your head stuck. And I'ma just keep eating rappers like Sammy, cause your wee bars couldn't touch or harm me. I defend my team like Walker, but it's just me, myself in the army. So I just implode facts, kick back like Kimbo's back. Trust me, I've been low, it's mad. So many souls been broken half. And the man roll round in the whip and all of the windows black. So you're thinking it with those straps, and the thing goes black. So you could get hit quick with a ricochet, let wig split like rips in a wicker tray. Death just fucks with a living prey, like you just one real bad trick away. Man, it ain't fun to run, and don't think that the gun the one. Or the knife either, it can turn on your neck and get caught like a white beater. Man, I'm real in this city, no steel in this city. I eat rappers, so I make a meal of this city. I'm feeling this city like I'm dealing with titties. One mic, one hook, just real in this city. Real in this city, no steel in this city. I eat rappers, so I make a meal of this city. I'm feeling this city like I'm dealing with titties. One mic, one hook, just real in this city. You can shoot your shot, won't let it in. Like Edison, you just miss and run no reverend. No hits, but the whole shit's relevant. Kick stay criminal.
Hi guys, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV. How is everyone today? Hope you're well. Sorry about that, just a little bit late. I had a delivery I had to take, so my apologies, and I've got probably another one on the way. Christmas time, this is what you get. But anyway, let's see who is on today. Craig Forrest, good evening. Hope you're all well. Yes, good buddy. I will send you a message in a bit. Oh, Andy, English finest, how are you? Happening, Craig, mate? Bernard, hi, guys. Craig's stream's down already, or is it my phone? I don't know. Might be your phone. I don't know. Stream looks like it's up. Unless there's a problem from my end, let me know. Pardo Oaks, no signs in January. What's that about? Evening, Martin. All right, pal, says England's finest. Hi, Craig. Hi, Martin. All good, good, good. Calvindale, going to be a tough game. Rashford and Dan James might cause your defence some problems. They have Man U 3-1 City. Go away into a timeout. Stop being negative just because you got battered last night. Absolutely disgraceful, but we will talk about that if you want to. Cal, once you've calmed down, stop talking garbage. If Rags win, I'll be very disappointed. Is there anybody out there? Clearly you're on your own. Poor Craig Forrest. Everybody give him a shout out. He's probably feeling very lonely. Hello, says Ryan Corrie. Will Cumby be fit for place on the bench on Saturday? I doubt it. Afraid of Rashford, but not Mardas. James. Bernard Dinny, no Pardo. Don't think so. Ryan says, won't be here for the full stream, going out for food before doing a quiz. I'm going 4-1 City. Cal says, Bernard, any changes for Saturday? We'll maybe see tomorrow with Pep's press conference. Hey, Andy, how's the throat? Yeah, sore today. So it's not going to be a really long one today because, after that big long one the other day, my throat was already killing towards the end. Mark the Blue, hi, Andy and Blues, how are you? Cal always going against City now. I know he's disappointed because of last night's result. So, but hey, you can chill out with the kids for 300 seconds, and if he wants to come back, he can do it. As long as he's a bit more positive. Plastics 4, Rags 1. Yeah, that's what we like to see. A bit of positivity because we ain't going down that route. Right, on to some news. Let's see, where should we start off? Let's start off with the boring stuff because it's just raised its head yet again. Never going to happen, and I really hope it doesn't happen. And that is obviously Ousmane Dembele. I mean, it was Martin, I think, spoke about it yesterday, and yeah, it's come out again today in El Desmarque, and it's a Spanish publication saying they're reporting that Manchester City officials have met with the agent of Barcelona attacker Ousmane Dembele. The Frenchman has endured a difficult time since making the move to the new camp from Dortmund, and his time with the Catalan Giants is said to be approaching its end. The German players' representatives have reportedly been spotted meeting with the likes of PSG, Chelsea. However, this latest report claims City are more willing to pay something closer to Barca's asking price, but that could be dependent on whether Leroy Sané leaves this in the summer, as he's been linked with a move. Now, you know, I'll be absolutely blunt with you on this one. And normally I sort of go, I'm not too sure, this, that, and the other. But I don't want him. I don't want him at the club. I'll be honest with you. Seems a bit injury prone and very sulky. And you know, I think we've had our sort of fair share of sulkiness over the last God knows how long with the likes of Leroy at the moment and everything else. So for me, I don't want him anywhere near the club. And I think, what was the asking price? Around about 90 million? No chance. Absolutely no chance. The rumours are, just heard, the rumours are Erland's, Alfie's son's buyout clause is £17 million. Now, would you rather give him 250 grand a week and try and get him to come to City for 17 million quid, or would you rather go for somebody who's hardly played for Barca and yeah, he's always injured? Not for me. Hi Andy and everyone. Hi, says Mingy Wong. Hi guys, how are you, Jerry? Silver not gone yet, not David, the other one. No, not as far as I know. As far up to about 10 minutes ago, no. England's finest, lots of cases on Dembele. Lazy, sleeps in, late for trade. Yeah, there's been numerous fines. He's probably taken the path, or maybe Jadon Sancho's taken the path of Dembele, because I think he's been fined something like 4 times in the last few months for not turning up on time for training, player meetings, things like that. Just shows you how, when you're young, you get these big transfers and it just goes to your head. Hi, Jerry Gow, how are you? Hi, Bernard, says Mingy One. Bernard, how poor were Spuds last night? Clueless, didn't watch it. I was actually watching the Liverpool game. I didn't watch the United game. So I honestly couldn't tell you what happened. I've not even seen the game back. On to the next little bit of news. Like I said, this is going to be a flying live vlog. Got loads of stuff to do. Got Premier League prediction stuff to do and everything else. And to be fair, it's all little bits and pieces of rumour and so forth. And tomorrow, fortunately, I'm out for most of the day because I'm at a funeral. But I'll be back in time to do, hopefully, fingers crossed, a really interesting pre-match preview with an opposition fan channel, if it goes ahead, and it will be a good one. So let's have a look. What else have we got? A little bit of I'll tell you what, we'll talk about Pep and Pep's system. There is an article which talks, it was actually quite interesting reading through it on here, and it talks about Pep Guardiola has changed his style at Manchester City, and it's by somebody called Mark Lindquist, who is the Man City content manager for LWS Football. And he goes on to sort of say that Pep's always the first person to tell you that he will not change his style or his principles about playing football. Well, for the first time in his career, there is evidence that that is no longer the case. He'll never change his principles, but the style that this City side play in 2019-20 is different. And he went on to talk about all of it. And he's saying it's not a drastic change in style of play. Nothing is going to make Guardiola suddenly abandon Johan Cruyff's principles. But he claims, like Cruyff, Guardiola is trying to find a new way to apply these principles within the context of today's game, which means his teams are still playing the same way, but in a different formation. And he goes on to say this season, City have essentially been playing a 4-4-1-1 with a double pivot in midfield. The double pivot allows the 2 wingers to join the two forwards in possession, but forces them to track back to protect the fullbacks. However, the two wingers, usually Raheem Sterling and Bernardo Silva, are given license to press incredibly high. So too does Kevin De Bruyne. In some cases, De Bruyne will push all the way up to Silva and Sergio Aguero to try and press from the midfield. And there's a series of images which I didn't want to show on here just in case of any copyright issues, because there's Sky Sports all over them. And it says if the press doesn't win the ball back, then they drop back into formation. It's a picture and an image from somebody called Michael Cox, who's wrote an article in The Athletic from the Chelsea game as a classic example. But so it's interesting reading through. I mean, I'll give you the link. I'll post the link and you can go over and actually have a look at it and have a read through. And I found it quite interesting. I'm not going to read all of it because it's a bit boring, me reading everything on screen behind the back of a picture of Pep Guardiola. But I've put the link up there for you. And if you want to go over and have a read of it, I found it quite interesting reading through and thinking, well, I don't know whether he's quite adopted a 4-4-1-1 in all games, but he certainly has in a couple when you look back at them. So go over and have a read of it. It is actually quite interesting to go through. So let's see how else is on here. We scored at Anfield. Yes, you did. Well, that's a bit more like it, Cal Blundell. Bit more positivity, mate. I thought you were all right in bits and pieces last night, because I watched the game, and what was really disappointed though, I mean, I was listening to Talk Sport earlier, and Adrian Durham was going on about with, I think it was Darren Bent in the studio saying, how can the Van Dijk one on Calvert-Lewin not be a penalty? I mean, it's as clear as day. He also talked about the Trent Alexander-Arnold 2 times could have been sent off for stamps. Then the Robertson elbow on the back of Tom Davis. And, even in the studio, they're saying, look, you could see it back on TV and you could go, that's a red card. That is, that's aggressive behaviour. That's, a red card. And and he asked the question, is Liverpool suddenly getting decisions? And I messaged in on Twitter going, have you been living under a rock? This has been happening now for 2.5 years. But then you got a Liverpool fan ringing in and he's going, oh no, the Virgil van Dijk one wasn't. The 2 stamps by Trent Alexander wasn't. And the elbow by Robertson, he was already falling. I mean, just cult FC for you. But anyway, I thought you played really well in parts, Cal, last night. And really, to be fair, you could argue that the breakaway goal, great finish by Mane, but the breakaway goal should have been a penalty to you guys. But it is what it is. But at least you scored 2 at Anfield, which is more than we scored. Tom T, will be tough to catch that Liverpool team, sadly, now, especially with how Mane's playing. We need better squad depth. I think now I was shocked at how much they had. Craig Forrest Dembele is another injury-prone player. Jovetic, Company, Aguero, Gundogan, the Beast, always too injury-prone even now. Jerry Gow says, hi, Bernard. Oasis saying, yo, how are you, mate? Hope you're well. Mingy Wong, Silva getting fired soon, it seems, by the sounds of it. Sorry about the funeral. Yeah, no problem, mate. When you get to my age, they start coming a lot more frequent than they used to when I was younger. Oasis saying, Blue Moon, you saw me standing alone. We need to destroy these mugs. There certainly are a lot more long balls now. There definitely are. Hi, guys. Says Kamal Dwyer. How are you, buddy? Carl, Mashiri and Silva have had an hour meeting and an announcement of Silva being sacked to come on the next hour according to the Telegraph. But got to take that with a pinch of salt. Well, excuse me. Well, according to Talk Sport, talking about Sky Sports and things, they're saying it's going to be any time now. So you have to suspect he is going to get sacked. But it seems that listening to Everton fans on Talk Sport, they're saying that they really don't want Moyes back, who seems to be the favourite. The weird thing is that Liverpool defence is easy to beat. If that was City or top team, Liverpool would have been destroyed. Arnold made a lot of dirty challenges and got away with it. Liverpool, yes. Tom T, 3 big players missing, though. Cal, Alisson, Matip and Fabinho. Cal Blundell, if Moise Keane doesn't play or we play 4-2-3-1, I'm becoming a tennis fan over football. Jerry Gard, both Liverpool fullbacks, dirty gets, they are. You're only 21, Andy. No, I wish I was. Dominus Earth, Andy, what's your prediction for the derby? I'm going for Manchester City 4, Manchester United 2. There you go. The other guys have sent me their predictions. Ryan hasn't sent his in yet, but Martin and Kiam have. I haven't looked at them yet, so I don't know what they said, but I'm going City 4, United 2. I think it's going to be high scoring. True, Jerry, they'd get away with it. Thoric Satsuma, Carl, Liverpool, best City like 2 weeks ago. Liverpool, best City like 2 weeks ago. Don't know what that means. 22 on Tuesday, guys. Yeah, in your dreams. Carl, feel bad for him. Nice man, but it went wrong. Thought it was this week your birthday, Martin. Martin's that old, he don't even remember when his birthday is. When are you going to do United preview? Tomorrow? Hopefully recording it around about 6 o'clock. And I can't give you any more details on that. Craig, Liverpool done the long ball and made it look easy, unfortunately. Mine's a secret. You are absolutely delusional. Right, next little bit of news. Well, it's the same news, more different style of news that we've already brought you weeks and weeks ago. Done it again about 2 or 3 times over the last few weeks, and that is again about Lautaro Martinez, who is a player on absolute fire at the moment in Serie A for Inter Milan. Well, they're claiming, the Manchester Evening News are saying that amid this Man City transfer speculation, he's come out and made a comment. His comment doesn't really claim anything. It just is playing the party line, basically. And they're saying that Martinez has no plans to leave Inter Milan as he continues a prolific season in Serie A. 13 goals and 3 assists in 19 appearances this season have seen him linked with a move away from the San Siro, with City reported to be considering as a long-term replacement for Sergio Aguero. And I like this kid. I've watched a little bit of him, and he does look very, very good. And certainly with our Argentinian contingent, I'm sure we might be able to get in his ear. But he seems to have struck up a productive partnership with Romelu Lukaku under Antonio Conte. And the Argentine has told Sky Sports Italia via Goal that the pair are both factors for his improved form this season. However, his comments also suggest he prefers playing with a strike partner, something he would not necessarily get under Pep Guardiola at City. Well, he could do if he played a 2 up front with Gabi. He says, and these are the words of Martinez, last year I played in a team with a coach who played with one striker in attack. I knew that in front of me there was the captain, Icardi, the most important player for Inter, and obviously it was very complicated for me to play. I always trained to the maximum, but I knew it was like that. I had the chance to play a few minutes, but not like I would play now. This year, I had a great Copa America, then met Conte, who works at high intensity and treats all players in the same way. This makes everyone train to the maximum. Then there's Romelu, who is a great person on and off the pitch. We are working hard to follow the coach's instructions and take Inter to the top. Referencing his future, Martinez dismissed talk of any departure from Inter for the time being, and his words were, Inter is my home. That's something very important to me. I try to work hard and prove with humility on the pitch that I deserve to wear this shirt. I want to bring as much joy as possible to the Nerazzurri fans and my family. So, I mean, he's clearly not going to make any other statements other than that he's happy there and things like that. I mean, that's just the way it is anyway. But he is certainly a very exciting talent, and I don't believe he'd be anywhere near the price of a Dembele or someone like that. But he's very exciting. He's Argentinian. But he is sort of intimating there the fact that he is actually preferring to play in a 2 up front, like a 4-4-2. Rather than a 4-4-1-1, if you want to suggest that, or a 4-3-3. So, yeah, Martinez, we'll wait and see. We'll see what's actually said about him in the coming months. It'll be different when there's money on the table, I'm guessing. So let's go back and see anybody else made some comments. Craig Forrest, 2-3 City win. Love the video details. Who would want more, says Jerry Gow. I did find a new dogging place though last night. Bit bizarre, Martin. Bernardine is laughing at that. Maybe you two need to get together. Carl Blundell, Pep is better than Klopp. Pep uses class. Klopp sends his wife to the FA, if you know what I mean. No idea what you mean. Just want Sane back. Yeah, well, he's not going to be back until the end of January. Carl Blundell, Martinez and Lukaku are very deadly. Yeah, they seem to be in Serie A. But, yeah, sometimes we've seen it. Sometimes strike partners, like, partnerships you've seen, like the Cole and Sheringham partnership. You've seen from yesteryear the Shearer and Sutton. So, it's one of those. It's sometimes players prefer to play with a two. It doesn't mean to say that he can't play up there on his own, especially in Pep's system, because I'm sure he looks like a big lad. So if we're putting him balls in the box, maybe it would be perfect for him. And I'm sure he'd get more chances at City than he would get at Inter. Martinez is very like Aguero football-wise, says Craig Forrest. I think Icardi is better than both. Big jump. Jay Wang, evening all, long time no speak. Kiam says, happy Thursday, everyone. Martinez, quality player, get him in. He is good. Icardi is just unreal. Yeah, comes with tons of baggage, though. Absolute tons of baggage. You won't want his wife and everything else. It just create mayhem. Kamal Dwyer, Pep shouldn't change the team for Saturday. We need a team that plays with each other week in, week out. It'll bring more consistency. Yeah, that was like the video I put out the other day talking about the amount of rotation that we've done so far this particular season. I'm just going to see if I can just bring it up for you and shove a link in there. So if you want to have a look at it, if you haven't seen it, this is the video that I did the other day it was on Tuesday prior to the Burnley game, and it was talking about the amount of times that we rotated the back four and the midfielders, and that, I think it was prior to Tuesday, I'd said Rodri had played 6 times and won all 6 games. Well, on Tuesday night he played in the central defensive midfield role on his own, and that's 7 wins out of 7. So it doesn't look like Fernandinho is going to go back there as much as we all potentially want it. And if Rodri puts in performances like he did on Tuesday night, on Saturday, it looks like it's going to be Rodri all the way for the rest of the season. Maybe, if he stays fit. Just sent my Premier League predictions through. You won't like my derby. Well, we don't like your derby predictions. We don't like any. I mean, you've had draws, defeats, and I'm guessing it's another draw. I'm guessing from you, Kiam. So I won't be surprised at what you sent through. Jay Wang, how are you, Andy? I've become famous after my video with you. Oh, have you? Really? Which video was that? Epic Nin says it's sad that Leroy might be going on a free at the end of the season. A free? Why would he go on a free at the end of the season? Still got 18 months on his contract. Wang the man. Martin was from the Burnley game, Andy. Everyone said I was off dogging, apparently. I don't know what that means. I don't know what dogging means. I just don't know what he means, but everyone was saying it. Mihi, Benny Puri, Leroy's going nowhere on a free, don't worry. Well, he won't go on a free because he's got 18 months left on his contract. Defence is something we need to strengthen, and I'm sure we will do. Cardi's my favourite player. Have his pictures on my wall, a bit like Ryan with the Bournemouth players. More like, I bet you've got pictures of his wife more than him. It's that fashion. Kiam says, could rotating be Pep's genius, keeping us fresh, hence why we have 190 points? Not sure. Maybe. But we are significantly behind at the moment compared to where we were last season. So we're certainly not going to get 98 points this season or anywhere near it. Andy, who did the details video, goals against United? I don't know what you're talking about there, Craig. Channel B, something. Oh, the details video. Is it? You're talking about Pundit J on Twitter? Maybe. I don't know. Chanub B, sometimes I think we rotate too much, but Pep knows best. Absolutely, of course he does. You interviewed me after the game with my daughter, Marbo. Oh, yeah, I did, yeah. How are you? Jerry Gow, it's flashing your lights on and off in the car, Martin, or so they tell me. Is that fashion? I have no idea. Could Marnie do it on a cold, wet, rainy night at Stoke, though? He is on top. He is on fire at the moment. You've got to give him that without a shadow of a doubt. Right, moving on. Let's go for. There's an article today, which I thought was quite interesting. It was in the Manchester Evening News, and it went on to talk about Rodri's been the first to admit that he has work to do to master the holding midfield role at City. That position, perfected by Fernandinho, has been crucial to the Cesar Pep's side over the last few years, and the former Atletico midfielder has not been allowed any time to settle on the job. As the Premier League champions have struggled this season, some fans have called on Fernandinho to return to his former role, although his manager has insisted he will remain in central defence. Rodri showed improved form at Burnley in one of the best team performances of the season as they dominated the hosts at Turf Moor in a 4-1 win on Tuesday night, highlighting his productiveness when the side play on the front foot. And he also popped up with his second goal of the season as he crashed in the third beyond Nick Pope, with some concern for what could add to the team in attack following a season in Diego Simeone's mean machine. Rodri is actually outperforming expectations. His 2 goals are only one fewer than his career best in a club campaign, and he is also on course to beat Fernandinho's best ever tally in the role under Guardiola. Now, I'm going to pop another one. I'll pop another thing up here if I can find it. Let me just pop this up here at 1 second. Let me just get it. And I'll just show it up in a minute, because there's an image, there's a graphic that's up here, and I'll just bring it up for you so that you can see it. Let me just find out where it is. Not that one, sorry, this one. And I'm going to just bring it up over the top of here so you can see it. And what this is the stats from the actual article. And there you go. You can see the stats from that article. And as you can see here, it says games per goal from midfield and Fernandinho versus Rodri. And you can see there the statistics are showing that Rodri is actually outperforming Fernandinho. Now, I don't know whether that's this season, because what I did was in the summer I did a video, and what it did show was that Fernandinho was actually better going forward in the CDM role than Rodri was at Atletico Madrid, but Rodri was definitely better defensively in the defensive role, statistically, albeit 2 different leagues, than Fernandinho was. So it's quite interesting when you look at these stats, when it talks about goals per game from midfield. So I think what it basically is telling us is that it makes no difference, because the simple fact is Fernandinho is not going to be going back to the CDM role according to Pep Guardiola, unless, I'm guessing, there's going to be injuries that forces maybe Ferna to come out into the midfield. If Gundogan and Rodri were to be injured, maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. Maybe he'd still stick. Maybe you put Kevin De Bruyne there and just stick and keep with, excuse me, Fernandinho as a centre-back. So let's hope and let's see what happens on Saturday with regards to, will he change it? Will Gundogan come back? Which I'm really hoping not, but we'll wait and see. Anyway, let's just go back to your comments. Carl says Icardi just has everything about him. His class. Ming, how much is Icardi? Tardek23, you will play Mahrez the next match. I doubt it. Carl Bundell, I wish Mane was set fire. I think Icardi has £100 million buyout clause. I didn't know that he did. He had 18 months on his contract. I thought it was expiring. No, he's got another 18 months, mate. Put out a short 5-minute video today. Maybe it wasn't you guys. You know what I'm like. I've no idea, mate. No chance of getting him then, says Mingyu Wong. You will play Mahrez the next match? Probably not. Would you take Simeone if Pep left? No, definitely not. Rodri has to have space to get head up. He gets that against less teams. Ferna makes space against big teams, so can learn from that. But I mean, my point is would I rather have Ferna? Yes, but Kiam, Pep's already said he's not gonna be playing in a CDM role, so we'll have to wait and see. Did you see the nasty scratch on Jesus Net? Yeah, I said it in the live watch along, England's finest. I mentioned it. It was really bad. There was 2 scratches actually. Has Silva been sacked, Cal? Not that we know of at the moment. United do have quality on their wing, says Maher, with both James and Rashford impressing there yesterday. Mendy hasn't impressed this season. I think we should start Angelino and Walker just like yesterday or the day before. Yeah, maybe. With regards to the derby, by all accounts, there is a concern reading an article today in Court of Side that Anthony Martial is a doubt for Saturday. And apparently he's got a knock. And when asked, he said, I'm not Solskjaer I'm talking about says, I'm not sure, I don't know whether he will be available or whether he won't. So apparently Martial suffered quite a few hamstring injuries and maybe he suffered another slight sort of pull on that one. So we'll wait and see. It's a derby. Anything goes in derby. Look at last year. We could have won the title at home against United. What happened? Pogba jumped up with 2 goals, beat us 3-2 on that particular day. It was like a typical City. We could have won the title at the Etihad. So it's always a difficult game. But I'm fancying City this week. Why would City appoint a defensive manager like Simeone? Think City are too smart? Yeah, I agree. Hate to admit it, man is best player in the Prem, says James Pollard. John Grogan, United fans are getting giddy. They are. You will Riyad Mahrez the next match? I don't know. You keep asking the same question over and over again. I keep giving you the same answer. James, get out of it. Sterling has been better. The man Rodri is going to be a beast in CDM role for the future. I think he will do. Craig said, I really like Rodrigo, but he was crying out for some familiarity. But if Pep want further in defence, who can argue? Just seen Everton linked with Barnes. Hope it happens. John Barnes linked with Barnes. Which Barnes? Who's Barnes? Howard Bellis for the Prems. Epic Theory. Gonna have to buy his time. I think maybe not for the Premier League, but maybe for the cup competitions. Kamal Dwight, it's very unlikely City have not spent millions of pounds on these quality attacking players to go appoint a defensive manager if Pep leaves. I hope either Arteta or Ten Hag. Right, okay, so if we're talking about that, we'll talk on to the next one. And this is a familiar face that I'm sure you all familiar with who he is, and that is Dominic Torrent. So, he, as you know, he was Pep's number 2 originally before he left and was appointed the manager of New York City FC. However, he didn't have a great time out in New York, and now there's rumours that potentially Everton could, according to HITC, Everton could potentially come in at the last minute and try and get Arteta and prize him away from Manchester City. Pep wants him to stay, but has always said the same thing: I won't stand in anybody's way. So the rumours are that potentially, if that did happen, if it ever did happen, and I'm sure Cal Blundell would be absolutely over the moon with Arteta. If it did, then Pep would get Dominic Torrent back at Manchester City as his number 2, because he's worked with him for years and years and years. But it says whether Arteta would leave the champions for either Arsenal or Everton still remains to be seen. But the 37-year-old would be in line for a significant pay increase on his rumoured £800,000 a year contract at Man City if he does move into management. Remember, he spent 6.5 years at Everton and 5 at Arsenal before retiring from playing football. So, will Arteta go? Will he Will he stay with Pep Guardiola? I'm sure Pep will want to keep him. The players like him. And it depends on, I'll be honest with you, I think it really does depend on I'm sure there's talk between Pep and Arteta, between Pep and Cheeky and Ferran and Khaldoon and everything else. I'm sure they have an inkling, or will have an inkling in the next few months, and probably already do. Is Pep going to just see out his contract and then that's it? If so, 18 months' time, there is a job at Manchester City, which would be, as Pep claimed, Arteta would be perfect for that. So maybe he's a natural replacement, and 18 more months at Manchester City would give him, no disrespect, Cal, a perfect managerial role at a big club. And I'm not saying Everton at a big club, I'm just saying at a successful club with money to spend as well. Where if he was to leave now, I very much doubt that in 18 months' time, City would be trying to get him back. We've seen when Vieira's left, hasn't really worked out. And I'm sure Arteta's thinking these things as well. Looked at Vieira leaving, not really worked out for him in football management at the end of the day. So Thierry Henry trying his hand thing, not really happened. All right, it's happened for Lampard so far. So there is that positivity there. But Lampard went to Derby first and earned his stripes. So, it's a big incentive if Pep decides and tells Arteta and the board, look, I'm going to see out my contracts and then I'm going. It's a big incentive for Arteta to stay, because if Pep recommends to Cheeky and Ferran that Arteta should be the man, then they will probably listen to what Pep says. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But one thing is, if Arteta does decide that it's time to jump, and this is an opportunity that he can't turn down to go to Everton, if Silva is sacked like we think it is, then Torrent is the perfect person to come back in. He knows the players, he knows the club, he knows Pep. He's been there before and done it. And let's face it, he's been successful with Pep Guardiola. So, Rafa, he's your man, says Kiam. Kiam, I want Rafa, Moyes or Eddie Howe. Cancelo, left back. Not for me. Kiam, I'd rather Martial play. He's a lazy git. We'd cope with him better. Cal, EF. Cancelo is a bad right back, so he's going to be an awful left back. Now, Cal, think he could do a job. Trying to United play well against Spurs, or did Spurs play like garbage? I'm trying to analyse, will they give us a problem? I don't know. I didn't watch it, so I have no idea. I think Moyes' reputation is gone now. You shouldn't get it back. I agree. I don't think Moyes would be the wrong appointment. Carl Blundell, Rodri's like Busquets. Ashley Barnes, he has a few goals, but he looks good. Gets in the face of defenders. We don't have a player like that. Well, I think you do have players like that. What about Richarlison? What about Moise Keane? They're big players. They can do it if they want to. I just don't know whether that's the type of football you're playing so far under Silva. Maybe Moyes would play that type of football and get Keane up and get Richarlison up and get the big physical players to get up there. Even and all, just popping in for 2 minutes, see what's going off. All okay. How are you, Paul Standall? Hope you're well. Will you still go if relegated, Cal? How is Messi so good? Does he have a 5 a day? This is how it feels, says Robert Wolfries. It does. Will you choose if they ask you to appoint a player to play a match? Do you, Bernardo, on? Who will you choose if they ask you to appoint a player to play a match? Do you, Bernardo or Mahrez? Depends which match. For Saturday, I'd stick with Bernardo. Cal Blundell, Robert says Bernardo. Cal Blundell, of course, Kiam, I'm a blue. I love this club no matter what. Win, lose, or draw, I wouldn't change it for £1 billion. I'm loyal. Higher work rate, says Robert. I agree with you, buddy. Great answer, Cal. Cal Blundell, wouldn't mind that Pep Guardiola. Don't know much about him. I would sell mine out to get there. Arteta would sit tight and wait. Here, I'll be pretty honest. I think United had their best game in 2 years against Spurs yesterday. They were making threatening passes behind the lines and could have been 3-0 up if not for Kazaniga. Craig Forrest, we didn't want Moyes at Hearts. Does anyone think Sterling needs a break? Paul Standall saying that the other day. He certainly won't get a break for the United game. I think he does at some point, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks before Christmas, he might get the odd game where he's on the bench. But Pep's always said, and he said his regeneration is phenomenal, but I think it's more mental, just needs to switch off. Maybe just Pep I've said it before 5 or 6 times, just send him away with his girlfriend and kids for 4 days and just say, go and take a break. Forget football, go away, come back, refresh yourself and get your mind on for what's going to be a busy, busy Christmas and New Year period. Pep is a fraud, mate. I won't bother. He's not just a fraud, he's a bald fraud. Been playing a lot of games, doesn't get much of a break. He doesn't, yeah. But here, that being said, the game is at the Etihad. I see every single City player going for it like we have against big teams this season. I expect nothing but a win with our current form. No, well, I'm absolutely with you on that one, Mahir, definitely. So finally, what else have we got for you today? Oh, yes, the City Football Group Empire. And as you can see there, wow, just spread everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And this was an article, and it was in Axios, and it was talking about City Football Group Empire. And as we can see there, it's giving you a map of all the teams that we've got, from Manchester to New York City to Melbourne to Mumbai to Sichuan to Girona to Montevideo to Yokohama. And it was an article, it's in a bit of a finance outlet, and it says private equity giant Silver Lake Partners has agreed to, obviously, as we know, invest $500 million for just over a 10% stake in the City Football Group. And they've broke it down and said why it matters. It says the deal makes CFG, now valued at $4.8 billion, the world's most valuable soccer group, as well as the second most valuable enterprise in all of sports, trailing only the Dallas Cowboys, according to Forbes. It also makes Man City, which is CFG's biggest asset so far, the single richest soccer club, leapfrogging Man United, Barca and Real Madrid. The details says the CFG is 77% owned by the Abu Dhabi United Group, an investment vehicle owned by Sheikh Mansour, a member of the royal family of the United Arab Emirates. Silver Lake is a Silicon Valley-based technology investor with a clear appetite for sports, having also invested in the UFC and sports marketing giant IMG. The backdrop, after buying City in 2008 and quickly turning into a juggernaut on and off the field through massive spending, CFG began purchasing teams in key global markets, hoping to replicate its success elsewhere. Then it goes into a timeline. Obviously, 2008, they bought City, 2013, New York City FC, 2014, Melbourne City, 2014, Yokohama Marinos, 2017, Club Atletico Torque, 2017, Girona, 2018, Sichuan Junhui FC, and now 2019, Mumbai City FC. And they said, the next bit talks about how it works, and it says each club has one person in charge of the business, and they're obviously the COO, and one person in charge of the soccer, which is the director, both of whom report to the CFG. In certain cases, women's teams have also been launched and brought into the fold. Now, it goes on to break down a few more things, which I thought were quite interesting, just as a bit of background knowledge. Shared resources. Underpinning each individual club is a shared services group, which helps with things like scouting and analytics. Teams also benefit from sharing coaches, doctors, and even press officers. Shared learnings, it says injury research can be shared across clubs to help improve recovery times. Customer data from Australia can be shared to help sell more tickets in Uruguay. If a coach sees something on film, he might send it to another coach to analyse. Overall, central planning ensures that the best ideas are disseminated throughout the group. Giant farm system. It says if a Manchester City academy player has talent but isn't quite ready for the Premier League, he can easily be sent to a satellite team in a less demanding league. Coaching development. Patrick Vieira coached City's elite development squad for 3 years before being promoted and put in charge of New York City FC. He's now favourite to become the next Arsenal manager. The bottom line, CFG is at the apex of what it means to be a 21st century sports business, a mixture of sports, content media, technology and worldwide reach. As the globalisation of sports continues to gain steam, CFG has placed strategic outposts across 5 continents and amassed an army of 2,000 staff and 1,500 players who play a combined 2,500 games per season. It's on this basis that Silver Lake has invested in what was once a football club with historic roots in the working class communities of East Manchester, but is now a global entertainment business. And I thought it was quite interesting when it, thinking of, it's one thing that talking about, we know that all these clubs that we bought and things like that, but just really thinking a bit more strategically about the way that they share doctors, that they share press officers and staff. And so it's like one big, massive juggernaut of information, of direction, of, the feed that the CFG group want out there on 5 continents so far, the way that they share resources. And, if like I said, in Uruguay, if they see a particular player, they're sharing that information, inside information, first-hand information, straight back in real time, straight back to Manchester City as the main club out of the whole CFG conglomerate of companies, of football clubs. So it's looking really good. I mean, it is looking absolutely amazing. And then we've obviously in the near future got the potential investment into a 20,000-seater music arena that's going to be attached to the Etihad Stadium. And Jesus, it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal, I should say. So finally, let's just go back, see what your last comments are before I go, because my voice is now starting to go and my throat's getting very sore. Is that a map waving this weekend? No, it's not. I wish, Paul Standall. Hope Rashford pulls something like my mum. Chano Sterling is a thinker. Whenever he thinks in front of goal, he'll miss. He's also the hardest on himself when he knows he didn't play well. He is. Paul Standall. So just need a team in Africa and Alaska. Russia. We need a team in Russia. And then we have got one. Russia too, said Superior Being. United won't be much of a threat on Saturday, you reckon? Paul says, Russia too dodgy. Putin would want 51% stake, probably. Putin would probably want to start with it. He probably would. Naked, with his top off. Craig Forrest, that's mental that only the Cowboys are bigger. They've been going for years, and we 11 years. Yeah, Putin would play his skins. They'd be forced to let him score. They would. Nippon says Mauricio Pochettino would much rather manage League One Wycombe Wanderers than ever go to an Emirates Stadium. Robert says, I don't know about City being an entertainment business. Doesn't seem right. Well, it's not City. It's not City. Not Man City. It's CFG. Also, do you reckon we'll ever get that safe standing area? I think it all depends on what the government do, Robert. We spoke about it so many times in the past. City are just going to sit back, and that's why I don't think there'll be any stadium development done until the government make a decision on safe standing. Otherwise, what's the point in investing all that money and then suddenly the government go, yeah, we're going to give it the green light. Sounds like WWE is The Rock coming to City. I view the CFG group as a hospital system in the USA where they share resource and data, really successful platform. You take care, speak later. Hope. Cheers, Blues. Take care, Craig. Putin would be useful for bribing the refs. He would. Kamal, I guarantee if Putin played for City would win at Anfield. I still don't get it. I still don't think we would. Have you watched Frankie de Jong from Barcelona? I don't think he's not had a very. Is it? I was watching a game the other night when Messi scored, and the commentator was claiming that he's not been particularly good. Paul Standall's safe standing came up in the Conservative manifesto the other day, so it is there. I'm hoping. Well, they're going to have to discuss it because I think it's on every Premier League team's or owners' lips, and they want it to happen. I think overall, I think if it went to a vote, and I think it's already been voted on as well, or in discussions with the Premier League and the FA. I think most teams would want it. We know that. It's just whether the government will finally give the green light. So, I mean, it'd be pointless City trying to extend. I know Liverpool are going to extend again up to 61,000, I think it is, and blah, blah, blah. But, City could extend up to 61,000 again. We could do that. But I think City might be prudent just to wait for the go-ahead and then maybe do it, the following year or something like that. Because there's no point in extending and then thinking, oh, God, now we've got to move. Unless they've already got plans in place saying, right, well, we can still expand and we can fit it in this area here. But I still think there's a long way to go before that happens. He's up and down, says Cal. Night Paul, night Jim Bob. Conservatives proper carrot heads. Right, guys, listen, I'm going. Been on for nearly an hour, so gave you a massive roundup there. We went through all the news about Pep's tactics. We talked about Martinez, Dembele, Dominic Torrent. We talked about Ferna versus Rodri and the stats so far. The CFG Empire. Martial potentially out for the derby. So gave you a massive big roundup there. I've got to crack on with the Premier League predictions video tonight because, like I said, I'm not here during the day tomorrow. So, and then I've got to get back for a big, hopefully, fingers crossed it comes off, a very, very big derby preview. So, fingers crossed, that should be very, very good. And I can't wait for that one. So, anyway, listen, guys, have a wonderful evening. Don't forget, check out, put another sort of quick roundup vlog, a wrap-up of all the bits and pieces we didn't put out on Tuesday night. So if you've not seen it, go over and watch the live vlog that put out earlier this morning. So, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. Martin will be back tomorrow. Martin will probably on when I'm recording the Man United derby preview video. But as soon as it's done, I'll get that out tomorrow night, I promise. If it comes off, it's all one of those that I get back in time and etc. etc. But see you, Carl. Have a good one. See you, Paul. Good night, Andy and everyone. See you, Bernard. 11 points. Jerry Mingy. Bye bye. Adam Doherty. 11 points. I mean, another cult FC. They're just obsessed, aren't they? Absolutely obsessed. They're obsessed with every other channel. Frightening. But anyway, guys, have a wonderful Thursday evening. Take care. This is Andy from Man City Fan TV. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon, comment below the video, and go back and watch all the other videos that, in case you missed, because I think there was so many out on the channel. I've lost count of how many. And hopefully there'll be another one out either late tonight. It'll be the Premier League predictions, but I can't finish off that particular video until the game, which is a right pain in the arse. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday games midweek. So we can't put the table up, the Premier League predictions table up until the actual game is finished tonight, the final game. So it might be first thing in the morning before I go. So anyway, take care. Have a good evening. Let's just keep positive for Saturday. Come on, Blues.